This year, I've had to force myself to go to the gym. The other day, I was crying in the gym. I'm like, why is it so hard for me to be disciplined? I'm fighting gluttony every day.
Okay, let me
go
there.
Come on, let's talk about it.
The issue is you're not hungry for food. So what are you hungry for? You have all the follows, you have all of this, but what are you hungry for?
You about to make me cry, girl. I got another episode after this. I really do want love.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's just not what God has for me. Or maybe maybe I'm just not meant to be a wife. Or I hate those thoughts because I'm just like, let's try this again. All right, you guys, welcome back to another episode of the Let's Try This Again podcast. First of all, before I get into our beautiful, amazing, smart, knowledgeable, healed, testifying guest, y'all, it's so good. I did a little Whitney thing. Y'all remember when Whitney was at that award show? She was like, Bryant, Susan, da-da, da-da. Yeah, I was trying to channel in my inner Whitney Houston.
Music, flow, dance.
Before we get into the guest, if you are an OG listener, thank you for coming back. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This podcast, the success of this podcast, this platform that I have grown to almost 1 million listeners is nothing without you guys. So thank you for coming back. All my OGs, whoop, whoop. If you are new here, thank you. We have new audio episodes every Monday, and every Tuesday we drop the visual on YouTube. So please continue to follow us. Please continue to listen. We heal, we grow, we evolve, we elevate on this platform. And y'all know my gift is vulnerability. So I'm always going to be vulnerable, open, honest with wherever I'm at in my journey. If I'm at a bad space, I usually talk about it on the mic. If I'm at a good space, I talk about it on the mic. And that is how I want to keep this space. That's going to lead me into how excited I am to have this guest, Dr. Thema Bryant. Oh my God, sister. You are amazing.
Thank you so much, as are you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you starting with naming the strength of vulnerability.
Man.
Because the armor, it doesn't last and it doesn't keep us. And it's like, do we want to be well or do we want to pretend to be well? Or do we want to perform?
Or do you want to just stay there?
Yes.
In that space and put on a facade and a mask for the rest of your life?
Yes. And so your openness gives people permission to show up real and true, and not that real, and I'm going to say stuck, but real in the sense of the rawness required for healing. Man. And so thank you for showing up in truth.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I truly believe vulnerability is one of the gifts God gave me. I don't know if it started off as, I'm going to say the truth before somebody can call me out. Or I think that's where my comedy comes from. Yeah. Like, I'm going to make fun of myself before you make fun of me.
Right.
Because if I just own it, you don't have anything to throw at me.
Yes.
I'm like, she's this. I've already said it.
I've already
owned it.
Yeah.
And I've already
it takes the power.
Yes.
The owning of your story and the telling of your story. Because some people can tell it, but they won't tell it right.
Come on.
Right? So it's like, if I say it from the inside out, I own it. I have the power over it. And I also have the capacity to shift, to grow, to heal, and to be free. And so I'm so glad you're not a hostage on today to your past or your present.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you. I'm on a constant journey of evolving and growing, and I never want to be, I don't feel like I've ever arrived.
Yeah.
I always want more, whether it's mentally, emotionally, spiritually, my relationship with God. I talk about that on a lot of my podcast episodes. Beautiful. I always had religion, but now I have relationship. And I want that to continue to grow. So growth in all things.
I love that, because what I have seen is sometimes not only do we perform with other people, but sometimes we perform with God, right? That like scripted prayer of thee and thou and whatsoever. And God is like, for real?
I know your heart. You don't even talk like that.
Yes. Yeah. So for me, one of the most powerful prayers is when we get to that point of like, I don't have it, right? I don't have all the answers. I actually need you. I actually need direction. And then God's like, okay.
How do you feel like somebody arrives there? I don't feel like I ever had that issue. Once again, I have a lot of issues. I got a lot of issues, a lot of things I'm working through. I'm just flesh and human like everybody else. Don't get me wrong. But in that category, the facade has never been me. In the
Yeah.
industry, in my career, in my
Mhm.
family. I'm sure there's maybe been a moment where I felt like I've had to do something and tweak it and I didn't like it. And I was like, I'm not doing this again.
Yeah.
But for the most part, the vulnerability and the raw realness showing up as my true authentic self has never been an issue for me. That hasn't been one of my battles in life.
Yeah.
How do you think somebody gets there to that point, not just with God, but with their friends, with their family, with their career, with their showing up true and authentic in every environment?
Yes. Yeah. So in order to be authentic, I have to be safe.
Man.
Right? We perform because we believe that's what's required to be chosen, to be acceptable, to be praised, to be celebrated. We learn very early what people want from us. So it's like, oh, they want your hair like that. They want your makeup like that. They want you to dress like that, talk like that, and then you'll be praised. And so when you get comfortable enough with yourself, you say, I'm going to show up as me. Some people will like it. Wonderful. Some people won't. And that's all right.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that.
And to know it's so much emotional labor doing it the other way. And it's not really sustainable. It's like if in your friendship circle, you're faking it, eventually the real you is going to come out. And then you're going to discover some of those people are not my people. And that's all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So since the performance or the transparency hasn't been your challenge, how would you name your challenge?
That is a great question. Okay, I'll say the two that have come up in the past year is with me spiritually, idolatry, and self-control and discipline, which is the fruit of the spirit. I battle with that a lot.
Yeah.
Obviously, to be in this position and have this platform and the success I have, self-control and discipline has to be a part of it, but it's not consistent. So I'll go hard in the gym for a year, then I take 6 months off. It's like, okay, you have discipline for that year, but then I would say self-control and discipline, idolatry. God he dealt with me with that a couple months ago, and I feel like I've made it through it. And it's a daily thing, my daily bread. Idolizing the b.simone name, the followers, the platform, and not knowing who I am without all of that, without the validation. If I get 1 million likes, I'm worthy. If I get 2 likes, I'm worthy. So not idolizing the numbers. And I've been dealing with this past 2 years, just the codependency. And I talked about this on so many other episodes of making people be comfortable, walking around on eggshells and shrinking myself to make sure everybody else is okay.
Yeah.
So it takes two in a codependent relationship. I'm always the giver and the person is the taker. So I don't blame the taker. They take a part in it and they do have a part of my pain, but I allowed them to do it. Nobody held a gun to my head and made me be the giver and be overly trying to fix and solve and fix and get, So I would say those are the 3 things that came up: self-control and discipline, idolatry, and healing the codependency in me.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for the clarity. And I wonder if you have discovered the why. Right? When we, let's say with the relationships having to be the strong one, that often we are making up for the hurts in the past. Because what trauma does, and I'm a trauma survivor as well as a trauma psychologist.
We're going to get into
right?
that.
Yeah. What trauma does is it makes you chase enoughness, right? To try to feel like I'm worthy. So if I do like a zillion things, is that enough yet? But it's never going to be enough. So you got to keep, right? And so once we heal the trauma, is to believe at my core, like you said, whether it's 1 million or 1, I'm enough.
I'm enough.
But you have to keep telling yourself that, because else
one time thing.
Yeah, it's not solved in one moment. You have to continue to give yourself that message because you are gifted, and also to not have to chase it.
Okay, just be.
Yeah. Yes.
Not chasing.
And so, what does relaxing for you look like? Or how is that? And how's your sleep?
I'm like, what is relaxing? And you know what? The go-to thing is I love work. Work is I feel purposeful at work. No, you're busy.
Yes.
You're busy. You're busy. Relaxing would be I would say a spa day. I like massages. It's one moment where I get my phone away from me. I sit it down. I turn it off. I'm just in the moment. I'm where my feet are. I always say that, be where your feet are. Self-care. I'm really into my skincare now. I've been fasting a lot lately. So just taking care of my internal. I'm really big on that now. I've always been big on it, but really trying to hone in and be disciplined. And relaxing for me, my intentional time with God. I've built a prayer room in my home, and when I don't even take my phone in that room. I try not to. I'm like, my phone can't go past this door. No electronics, and sitting there in solitude and thinking or praying, that's relaxing to me. Even though I have to force my flesh to do it sometimes, because my flesh want to scroll on Instagram, or my flesh want to read another email, or I have to be like, sit down, go to this prayer room, and just, like you said, just be. Don't seek, don't chase feeling the Holy Spirit. Don't chase hearing God's voice. Don't chase. Just go spend intentional time with Him. If you get the answer in that room right now, cool. If you get the answer in a month, cool. He gonna talk to you. So that's relaxing for me. Self-care and intentional time with God.
That's beautiful. And I love that you connected it to the prayer room, because sometimes that kind of driven way of being, we can approach faith that way. Right? I'm going hard. And God is like, woosah.
Relax.
Right. Yeah.
I love that.
You're already enough. You know, that when God made you, knowing all the stuff, knowing all of it, God's still like, that's good. I enjoy you.
I enjoy you.
Yeah.
You guys, before we go on with this episode, I have to let y'all know how much I love Skims. Okay, y'all can hear the excitement in my voice. Regular bras and underwear just don't do it for me no more. They make me want to go commando because they're so uncomfortable. The tight straps and the wires and the bras. Skims don't have any of those issues. It's so smooth and it fits your body like a glove. I literally reach for Skims every day because y'all know I'm going to be comfortable as long as it's on my body. I just got my Skims package in the mail, and when I say I cannot stop raving about their amazing stretchy and supportive fabric, I threw all my old bras and underwear away, and my whole top drawer is filled with Skims. The fits everybody high waist thong is my favorite. Baby, it literally molds to my body perfectly. I used to hate thongs, y'all, because they were so uncomfortable, but this one feels like I'm literally wearing nothing at all, so it's so perfect. If you don't believe me, try it for yourself. Shop Skims best intimates, including the Fits Everybody collection and more at skims.com and Skims stores. After you place your order, be sure to let them know I sent you. Select podcast in the survey, and be sure to select my show in the drop-down menu that follows. All right, y'all, back to the show.
With you seeing my social media, checking out the podcast and looking, is there anything you're like, as a psych, because you're a psych, you know, you check people's mannerism, you know, people, you're like, she's nervous, she's this, she's that. Is there anything you see in me that you could pinpoint off the back, like, I think she needs to work on this?
Right.
And if not, cool. But if anything has came up, I want to hear it. And I want to see what you think as somebody that has a PhD in this topic.
Yeah. For me, what I would say is the heart realm, which connects, of course, to our Matters of the Heart.
Yes. And we're going, y'all, it's sitting right here. Matters of the Heart is her book that is coming out, your relationship with yourself and those you love. We're going to talk about this for sure.
So I would say around self-neglect and what we would call self-abandonment.
Wow, what does that look like?
So self-neglect is when you're a strong person, which you are, it's easy to overlook it because you're like, I'm good.
Or this is just me. I can handle this. I can carry all this.
You're like, these other people, like, they need support. They need this. They need that, because you can see their stuff easier. Right? But you're like, I know I can get it done. I know I can manage. I know I can navigate it. And also people will praise you for always being on.
That validation
Yes,
that you need. That you did it. You're this, you're that.
Right.
That feeds.
Yes. And so for you, the question won't be like, can I do it? Because you could do a lot of things.
Okay.
It's instead to say, do I really want to? Will that nourish me? Right? Not everybody else.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll nourish them.
Okay.
Will it nourish me?
Me. Okay.
Will it sustain me?
Okay.
And to know that let this be a season where you can have more needs.
Ooh, wee.
Yeah.
More requirements, higher standards.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Because see, you'll mistake and say, like, I'm not needy, I'm good. I'm good.
One of my best friends, Shekinah, just said that in a moment. I was like, I don't require much from my friend. She was like, and that's the problem.
And that's the problem.
She was like, you need to require a little more. People need to show up for you. I'm like, you missed the birthday party. You don't text me back. I'm just so like, I'm fine. I'm easy. I'm easy.
Yeah.
No, there has to be a standard.
Yes.
So it's so crazy you're saying that because I'm trying to find the balance between still being myself and not and being self-sufficient. Being, okay, I'm not trying to fill a void with these things, but also a standard. She's like, you require stuff from a man you're dating. Require stuff from me. She's like, what do you need from me in this season? How can I show up for you better? I was like, I don't need much from my friend. She was like, that's the problem.
Yeah.
You don't require nothing from us.
Right.
I'm like, I never thought about it like that. She,
Yes, it is, it's under the guise of easygoing.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
It's like, but under the easygoing is you have learned not to expect, right? Because if I expect, I might be disappointed, I might be hurt, and then I have to make a different decision, or now I have to shift. But if I expect nothing, then I'm never hurt.
Man.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah. So I love that your friend said that to you.
It's so crazy. This is full circle moment. I've been having a lot of full circle moments today. But this
beautiful.
Is that you said that.
Yeah.
A little bit more.
Right. So you're saying in romantic relationships you do.
You know what's crazy? I haven't dated in about 3 years. So as the woman, I'm a total different woman than I was in my last relationship. I don't even know who I would be in this season dating. And I'm excited to see who she is. Like I haven't really experimented with that. But I do. I feel like in my past relationship, I've required, answer your phone. Or when I'm texting you, be there for me. Or if I'm having this, show up.
Yes.
I didn't require that as much from a friend. It's like, if you make it, you make it. If you don't answer, you don't answer. Of course, I'm not in a relationship with my friend, a romantic relationship. But I do feel like I was a little more strict with men other than my platonic relationships.
Okay. And what has the 3 years been like?
A lot of coming to who God has called me to be, I feel like. And I had this conversation with Jason Wilson. I'm like, I'm trying to get to the point where I don't need a man. He's like, you don't think you need a covering? You don't think you need... I try to I was like, maybe that was me trying a defense mechanism, to be like, I don't need a relationship. If a man comes, it's a bonus. No, I want to be a wife. I want a relationship. I want to be a mom. I want the family unit and to have a family that brings God glory, So I do want those things. And I don't need to mask it with, I'm okay if I don't have it because I don't have it right now.
Yeah.
So it's been a lot of self-evaluation, self-growth. And the best word I can use to describe it is I moved from religion to relationship with God. Yeah. And it's just totally different. And in this season, I truly feel like he's molding me, protecting me, and bringing me more vision for the purpose and the goals he has for my life and what I'm doing with my platform. Yes. The person and the woman that made me famous is not who I am today. And I'm okay with that.
Yes. How is she different?
From knowing a deeper purpose. I feel like I used to feel like all my accolades were my purpose. And it's not. It's just a platform God gave me to bring him glory, to help people and to to heal, tell my testimony, and evolve. I used to think, oh, my purpose is music. My purpose is comedy. No, that's just the platform. That's the vessel and the tunnel and the avenue that's going to bring people to coming in. It's like wrapping the medicine in candy, bringing people to come in and hear your voice, hear your testimony, and ultimately know that they need to have a relationship with God. I believe that is my purpose, bringing people to Him and helping people heal.
And has that changed your taste in friends?
Oh, girl. I got about 2 left.
All right.
I'm okay with it.
It's okay.
I feel when I say there's a meme that's like that removal prayer is dangerous because God will sweep out like a Rico. I'm like, I get excited when they fall off.
Yeah.
I'm like,
now we're operating in truth.
What?
Yeah, and my growth and healing. Because it's either we're growing at the same time or we're falling away, and that's okay.
And I get excited. I'm like, now I can get to where I gotta go. You in the way. At first it hurt. It was one of the first moments in my adulthood as a woman that I experienced like friend breakups and major like heartache with friends. I'm like, I've had the same friends for all these years, and it was the first time in the past couple of years that I experienced that. But now I'm like, oh, we lit. Like God gave me a vision in 2025 that I'm taking off like a rocket. And when a rocket takes off, it drops the baggage. It falls off.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with it.
I'm also appreciative of the very human response of it does hurt at first.
It does hurt.
It's like, wait, like where'd they go?
What happened?
Yeah. So it is both like the loss and also knowing I'm going somewhere, and as I go, I will connect with new people that will meet me where I am, and we're on the same page.
I love that.
And I think that's also been a part of the hiatus, the sabbatical around the dating, is who you would be attracted to 3 years ago.
It's different.
Yeah.
I was just talking about that. I'm like, I could text tons of men right now, all the old exes and the people that I'm like, we're not aligned. I'm a little past that now. So until that person comes that's kind of where I'm at and growing at my rate, I'm not going to settle. And before we talk about this book, Matters of the Heart, Healing Your Relationships with Yourself and Those You Love, I want to talk about your past, your upbringing. Because what word did you use? You said trauma.
Oh, survivor.
A survivor.
And a trauma psychologist.
Yes,
yeah.
You're a trauma survivor. So take me through that and how you got to this point.
Absolutely. So, first of all, I grew up as a pastor's daughter.
Me too.
Yay!
Oh, PK.
That's it.
My daddy's still preaching in Ohio. Y'all go check out Love Zion Baptist Church.
Come on.
Go to my dad's service.
Yes. Yeah. And so growing up, what I saw first was pastoral counseling.
Okay.
Because people are more likely in our community to talk to their pastor than to go to a mental health professional. So I grew up seeing that, living in the parsonage, the pastor's home, people call in crisis all the time. And so even when I was a kid, I would answer the phone and just kind of provide support until I heard that psychologist was like a career in and of itself. And so I knew that's what I wanted to focus on. But in terms of helping trauma survivors, growing up in Baltimore, while it's a beautiful community, there's also a lot of community violence.
Okay.
And so seeing that whether in the school, in the neighborhood, what have you. And then my dad was elected to be a bishop in the AME Church.
Okay.
And his first term was overseas, Liberia, West Africa.
Wow.
Right. That's huge. So I went from Baltimore
to Africa.
Sure did.
Wow.
And in the for the most part, or the first year of it, I will say was like one of the best experiences of my life because it gave me confidence. It's for the first time being in a place where everyone in a position of power looks like you, right?
How old were you at this point?
So this is high school, so like 14, 15.
Young.
Yes,
wow.
young. And so literally, the head of the bank, the head of the school, the head of the country, everyone is your reflection. So it does give you like this sense of like, I can be
do
whatever
anything.
and do whatever. And so that was really beautiful. I will also say in terms of affirmation as a young woman, growing up in Baltimore, there was a lot of what we would call internalized racism, where it's like the closest you are to looking African, that was like an insult. And then I got to Liberia and they were like, oh my God, you're a queen.
You're
right?
beautiful.
So I'm like, look, all right, okay. So that was really powerful. And then unfortunately, toward our second year there, a civil war broke out. And so, that's why when people are like quick to call for war, I'm like, if you've experienced it and seen the losses and all of that, you would say like, let's try everything we can before we
going
get to that.
point.
Yes,
Okay.
very devastating. And so we ended up being evacuated because of the war. Okay. So we left, came back to the U.S. So we had community violence, the trauma of war. And then during my college years, I went to Duke University in North Carolina, and I came home to Baltimore for a break. Mm-hmm. And during one of those breaks, when I was home, a member of our church came to the house. I recognized him, let him in, and he sexually assaulted me.
Oh, Jesus.
Absolutely. Say just devastating. Before that, like school came easy to me. I was like just sharp. When I went back to Duke, couldn't focus, couldn't concentrate.
It was a struggle.
Oh, it was, because you're looking at the textbook, but like nothing is sticking. Your mind is just
somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And the issue of trust, right? Of saying like, this was supposed to be like, literally I say, I opened the door. Like I knew this person. So that one of the powerful, so I went and got counseling and at the campus counseling center. And one of the powerful programs that Duke had was you could work in the community and Duke would pay your salary.
Okay.
So I started working at the Rape Crisis Center.
Wow.
Yeah.
How old were you at this point?
So 19.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh, all this is so young.
Yeah, so young. So
really quickly, y'all, before we move on, I have to share this gem with you guys. You should love your hair, but that can be hard to do if you're dealing with shedding or thinning. Luckily, Nutrafol can help, and it's time to start loving your hair again, baby. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people. I'm literally one of those people, y'all. I'm a prime example of how well this clinically tested formula works. Y'all know I talk about my tension alopecia all the time on social media, all of the tugging and pulling from braids and quick weaves. My edges have thinned out drastically over time, but using these supplements, I've seen major hair progress. It's thicker, stronger, and faster growing with less shedding. You can literally see these results within 3 to 6 months. Everyone's root cause of hair thinning is different. So a one-size-fits-all approach to hair just doesn't cut it, you guys. Nutrafol has multiple formulas that are tailored to give your hair what it needs to grow throughout different stages like postpartum or menopause. Building a hair growth routine is simple. Purchase online, no prescription required, and you only gotta take 4 pills a day with a meal. Start your hair growth journey with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code b.simone. Find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and stylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code b.simone. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code b.simone. All right, y'all, back to the show.
So I went on my healing journey and then really decided to focus on trauma recovery, helping people heal from trauma.
So we have a lot of listeners, right? Women that are still in the mix of their toxic life, still in the midst of trauma, they're not out of it yet. Because you had to choose these things.
Right.
What would you say to somebody that's like, I don't know where to start, or my life, it's very woe is me, or you don't know me, I was molested, my daddy did this, my mama did this, I don't have no money, well, I was born in poverty, I live in the projects, just the worst story possible. I want to give people out there that are, and maybe you don't have the worst story. Maybe it could be you have a great life, but you might be going through a divorce, or you have a great life and somebody cheated on. Whatever your struggle is, I want to give them hope because there is a way out. And I think so many people feel stuck like, well, this is just my fate.
Right.
And I just don't believe in that.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, absolutely not. They end up being okay with good because they never really evolved or got to what true peace, joy, and fulfillment and all these things feel like. So they just think, well, I'm making it by day after day. You ask people how they're doing. How you doing today? I made it through another day. It's like, that's the peak of your how you doing, you know? So what do you say to people that are in it? Where do they start to get through this trauma or these tragic, devastating moments? People have gone through some stuff, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So first, I would say to like be present where you are, meaning have compassion for yourself.
Okay.
Because however you survived it, you survived it.
Come on.
Right? And so sometimes the way we survive doesn't always look good, doesn't always feel good, but we made it. And then we say, okay, I don't want to just stay stuck in my survival. What you were speaking of is I want more for my life. And so for me, healing is actually a faith walk, right? And I'm not just talking about like faith in God. I'm saying you have to believe that you can have more than you have right now.
Okay.
Right? And that you can be more than you are right now. And that's why we just need like that mustard seed. Like a part of you might be like, oh, my life is trash, but like there's a little piece of you, right? That little bit that is like, there's got to be more than this.
Okay.
There's got to be. And so then I start by saying, I do not want to cooperate with the perpetrator.
Okay.
Right? So the perpetrator erased me.
Okay.
The perpetrator silenced me.
Okay.
The perpetrator, whoever did harm to you, whether that was assault, whether that's the person who walked away from you, whether that was physical abuse, whatever it was, that person did not honor my humanity.
Wow.
And so I will not match them.
Okay.
Right?
Meaning what? I will
not mistreat me.
Come on.
I will not dishonor me. I will not erase me. I will not allow myself to be silenced because I don't agree with that.
Wow.
I come out of agreement with it and I start to treat myself, even if initially you're faking it. Let's say you don't yet feel worthy. Just imagine, what would a worthy woman act like?
Wow.
Right? What would a worthy woman, how would she carry herself? How would she speak? How would she dress herself if she believed she was worthy? If I loved myself, then some things I wouldn't tolerate.
Come on.
Right? So even if I don't yet feel it, let me begin to move in that direction. That's called behavioral psychology. I change my actions even though my heart and mind are still struggling.
They're still not aligned.
Right.
I feel like behavioral psychology, I feel like I did that with forgiveness. If I forgave this person, how would I support them? How would I love them? Even though I didn't feel it yet. Even though I'm like, I actually don't wish the best for them right now. I wish they would break their leg. I don't want them to die. But break a leg.
Some consequence.
I ain't gonna wish death on you, but break a toe. But even though I didn't feel forgiveness, I moved like, okay, what would a forgiving person do? You call me about this person, I'm gonna give you their contact. You call me, but I'm not gonna talk down on their name. Move like you already forgave them. So that's called behavioral psychology.
Now, I do want to say this in the realm of forgiveness, for us to know forgiveness doesn't require reconciliation.
Come on. Hey,
yeah.
I love that. Say that again.
Yeah, forgiveness doesn't require reconciliation.
My God.
I can forgive you and you not be allowed in my house.
100%.
Right? I can forgive you and I not have to call you back.
Come on.
So sometimes we get mixed up because people assume if you forgave them, you should act like it didn't happen.
Or bring them back in your life.
That's right.
Okay.
And the truth is, I can forgive someone who's not sorry, but I can't be reconciled with someone who's not sorry.
Come on.
Because they're going to keep doing the same thing over and over again, which is why it has been so hard for some of us to heal, is we keep people close to us who keep trying to break our spirit over and over and over again. It's a vicious cycle. So I can forgive and release.
What does forgiveness look like? I think I battled with that at the beginning. I'm like, how do I know if I forgave this person? Because I don't feel good. I don't feel what. And I was on the phone with my mom. And I said, Mom, please pray. It was about me and another situation. I said, please pray that I forgive this person. She was like, I could pray all day. But you got to make the choice. It's a choice. And I'm like, well, how do I choose it? It was such a battle with how do I forgive, because I don't feel, the feelings weren't lining up with what I wanted my heart to do, which was feel good about this person or this situation. So it was a battle for me. What does forgiveness look like? Like, how do you know when you forgave someone?
Yes. So I'm glad you're raising this, because I think sometimes we do have it defined incorrectly.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So to say, if I forgave you, I'll feel good about you. Maybe not.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, I can. So a forgiveness is like an emotional release that I don't have to get worked up every time I see you, every time I hear about you. There is a freedom that forgiveness is in a lot of ways for you, right? As opposed to like, let me treat them better, is I don't want them to continue to have, them or the incident, to continue to have the weight to run my life.
This stronghold on me, weighing me down, controlling my emotions.
But forgiveness is not forgetting.
Okay.
See, some people use that scripture about, well, like, for God moves our sins as far as the east is from the west, and that's how we're supposed to be, that like you won't even remember it anymore. That's just not how that's not how the brain works.
Okay.
Right? I mean, there are some hugely traumatic events that people can't remember, or it was so young that you don't remember. But if your best friend betrayed you this past summer,
my God,
you're not going to like, oh, I forgave them and now I forgot it.
Okay.
Right? It means it's not the center, and it doesn't have the weight and intensity that it had before. And so it's a sense of freedom. But I think we have messed ourselves up and messed up other people with this pressure of having people pretend things didn't happen, especially for people who are still doing harm. I'll give you an example. In South LA, I work with the mental health ministry at First AME Church, and I was doing a women's Bible study. And a woman came. You know, people tell you something and you can tell they're thinking you're going to be proud of them, right? So she comes up to me before the Bible study starts and she says, I'm so glad I was able to forgive my dad. He molested me. And before I came here, I stopped and dropped my kids off for him to babysit.
Oh, my God.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. And I could tell she's thinking, I'm going to tell her, great job. This is what God would want. No, ma'am. Go get your kids.
My God.
We have childcare here with people with background checks. So go get your kids.
Wow.
Right? So it's a terrible setup. We see this around domestic violence of like, forgive and submit. And you're putting people's life in danger. Mm-hmm. So I can forgive you. I release you. I'm not, as you said, I'm not seeking revenge. You nor the incident are the center of my being.
Of my joy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's what it feels like. It may not feel like, oh, whenever I see them, I feel happy.
Right.
Right. It's okay.
But I can still maneuver comfortably.
Yes,
they're not controlling me in this environment.
Right. I don't feel stuck in it. I don't feel overwhelmed by it.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah,
ooh,
that's
Lord,
a gift.
That is, oh my God, that's a gift.
Mm-hmm.
I am living in an answered prayer, babe, because I was, at one point, I felt like that around my abuser or the person that hurt me. And it's like, that freedom that comes with that. Y'all, please take your path to forgiveness. And you said forgetting. So even now, as a 34-year-old woman, my memory, my friends make fun of me, but it's really, I want to talk about this as far as the psychology around it, because I think it has been a gift and a curse. Because my memory is so bad, I forget what people did to me and how traumatic and horrible it was. And I'm like, oh yeah, she's cool. My friend's like, she fucked your boyfriend. Like, do you not remember that?
Right.
Excuse my language. I'm like, I forgot about that. She did still take my boyfriend and sleep with him, and we were best friends. I just forget stuff that the average person would not forget, like major stuff. Like, I'm like, that happened in high school? Wow. Like, that betrayal happened? I forget, and it's so bad. But I'm not going to say God gave this to me, but it allowed me to not harden my heart through a period of time. Now I'm like, I need to start remembering this stuff because now I have the capacity to not be evil and harden my heart, but to, like you said, forgive but not forget and move accordingly.
Right.
You constantly, continuously let people back in your life because you forget how much they hurt you.
Yeah.
What is the psychology behind forgetting, like the memory of not remembering these traumatic experiences?
Yeah. So it's called disconnecting or dissociation. Right? So it's a way of surviving it when something feels overwhelming. Then we can shift our perspective, or we shift our focus, or we suppress it. We put it out of our thoughts because we're just trying to keep going and be okay and be my upbeat, pleasant self. But it, as you named, can be very dangerous, because then you see them again and the door's open again. Now it's a revolving door. It's like, I can't believe they did this to me. And all your friends are like, it's the same thing they've been doing, right? And so a quote I like to say is, the ways that we survived are not always the ways we want to live.
Man.
Right? So that's how you manage through that season. And so then to look back and say, but I want to be present, and I do want to have standards. And if I have standards and requirements, I have to be able to enforce them.
Come on.
Right? I can't enforce them if I don't remember what happened. Right. So it's like, that's not okay.
Okay.
Right? And it also gives people the wrong idea about what you find acceptable.
How to treat you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So then they're like, because they didn't forget what they did.
Ooh, they know.
No.
They know.
And you're like, hey, girl.
They like, I'm back in the dough.
Right.
I can play her again.
Yes. Right. Yeah. So and let me say, so one thing is the dissociating and not remembering. Another issue can be when you have gone through very hard things, then your threshold is high for pain. So when little things happen, other people consider it big. But you're like, look, compared to what you've been through, like, this wasn't that bad. So you're like, okay.
Your measuring stick is like just different. It's like, oh, I done been through worse.
Right, exactly.
But no, this is
bad.
This is bad.
Right. That's one of the things I help people with when they have escaped unhealthy relationships, is sometimes they're dating people, new people, and they say it's so much better, but it's still bad.
Or if people are like, well, at least he's not doing this. He cheated, but he's not hitting me.
Yes. It's
still
all of these. Or I've even heard, well, it was an open hand slap. He never punched me. So it becomes all of these ways of making things okay. And it's like, we are deserving of good treatment. We are deserving, even if you have not experienced it, you are deserving of it. And I know it's hard for people to believe because they say, oh, well, like, she might get it or she might get it, but like, that's not for me. And to know each of us is worthy of that.
And I was talking about that recently with a girl at my gym. She invited me to her church, and I was like, well, what did the preacher talk about last week? And she said just having the faith for yourself. Like you think everybody else, I believe it for everybody else. But when I have to have faith in what I deserve and my standards for me, it's lower. Like if I look at my friend, I'm like, girl, you deserve better. You're a queen. You can have any man you want. I gotta believe that for me.
Yes.
You, girl, walk out of that job. God got you.
Right.
It's like, but am I really gonna walk away? Like, girl, quit on their ass. Whatever you're telling them. And but I'm not just like talking my friend's ear off. I truly believe it.
Right.
I'm like, God got you. I'm looking at my sister. I'm like, girl, you deserve better. But you gotta believe that for yourself. Right. Your faith is so heightened for everybody else. Like you said, that mustard seed, heighten your faith for you. Yeah. You gotta believe it for you.
Yes. So what are we believing for with you?
Oh, stop playing, psychologist.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's talk about this book.
Right. I'm like, no, back to you. What do we? Okay. Yeah.
Before we get to this book, let me answer that question. What am I believing for me? I believe, once again, two things. I never feel like I fully arrived, right? But just really, really in this season, getting better, growing for myself, like in all aspects, from my diet to my mind to knowledge. Caleb, my videographer, is one of the smartest people I've ever met. So you could bring up any topic in front of Caleb and he knows something about it. I'm like, that is so intriguing to me, just your knowledge. I'm like, how do you retain this information? I'm telling you anything. I've talked about this, go all the way left. He knows something about everything. And I just admire that about him. So growing in knowledge, growing in health, and not being okay with where I'm at. Like,
all right, you guys, really quickly before we move on with the show, I have got to tell you about the Calm app. Calm is the #1 app for sleep and meditation, giving you the power to calm your mind and change your life. Sometimes I just can't sleep at night, y'all, and that's the honest to God truth. I'm restless, I toss and turn, and I can't doze off easily. The Calm app has helped me relax tremendously. The sleep meditations help me drift off into a restful sleep quickly and naturally. Plus, y'all know I take my mental health seriously. I don't play about that. The Calm app has meditations to help you work through anxiety and stress, boost your focus, build healthier habits, and take better care of your physical well-being. Everyone faces unique challenges in their daily lives, and mental health isn't about a cookie-cutter approach. That's why Calm offers a wide range of content and programs to help you navigate life's ups and downs, including sleep stories, calming music, grounding exercises, expert-led talks, and more. Calm puts the tools you need right in your pocket and can help you dedicate just a few minutes each day to live a happier and healthier life. Stress less, sleep more, and live better with Calm. For listeners of our show, Calm is offering an exclusive offer of 40% off a Calm premium subscription at calm.com/b.simone. Go to calm.com/b.simone for 40% off unlimited access to Calm's entire library. That's calm.com/b.simone. All right, you guys, back to the show.
This year, I've had to force myself to go to the gym. The other day, I was crying in the gym. I'm like, why is it so hard for me to be disciplined? Why? I'm fighting gluttony every day. That's one of my sins I be fighting. I'm an overeater. I will overeat and I'm got to unbutton my pants. It's like, girl, you was full 30 bites ago.
Okay.
So
let me
come on
go there.
Come on, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
It's coming from something, stress, trauma, devastation, depression. What is it?
So the issue is you're not hungry for food. So what are you hungry for?
Is I don't know an answer?
It's an answer you could say, but it's not.
Do you think I know?
Yeah. You have all the follows. You have all of this.
Man.
But what are you hungry for?
Maybe companionship?
Mm-hmm.
Like love?
Yes. Yes.
About to make me cry, girl. I got another episode after this.
That's all right. We got tissue. Yeah, hungry for love.
That romance. Like I feel like I have it with my family, my friends, but I really do want love.
Yeah. It's beautiful to acknowledge it. You don't have to stuff it, right? You don't have to stuff it. And it's nothing to be embarrassed about. It's a desire for connection, right? I desire my person. I desire my companion. I desire someone who's going to hold me down, who's going to love me, who's going to choose me, who's going to be faithful to me, who's going to care about me. I am longing for that which feels what?
I'm longing for that which feels.
I'm saying acknowledging that you're hungry for love.
Yeah,
feels.
And I think I don't know. Ask me the question again. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I have so many thoughts in my head right now.
Yeah, you can let those come out. Don't let it be filtered by my question.
Yeah.
What are the thoughts that are coming?
Just like combating the thoughts like, well, maybe that's just not what God has for me. Or maybe like,
yes, I do.
Like those thoughts come.
Yes, it's understandable.
Or maybe I'm just not meant to be a wife. Or I hate those thoughts because I'm just like, God's timing is everything. And I'm like.
And it will be worth the wait.
It will be worth the wait, But
and I want to say from the past relationships, I think you worked hard to forgive them, but did you forgive you?
Right. What I accepted, what I allowed, what I did, my role that I played in the relationship, like all those things. The validation.
Yeah. So can you forgive you?
Yeah.
When you forgive you, then you can trust yourself to receive love again. Right?
Okay.
Right now, you don't yet trust you, right? Of like, if I messed up or chose wrong or whatever, then I don't want to end up in that again. So let me just stay with my friends and my platform.
This is better than being disappointed, or this is better than another heartbreak, or this is better than another betrayal, or wow.
Right? So that's been the busyness. And now you get to be present. Now, first, I want to say it's good you took the break. Right? So many people don't.
Okay.
So it's good you took the break and worked on yourself, and you're not who you were then. You have more clarity. You also have family and friends that care about you, who, if you don't see something, they will let you know if they see something to be concerned about.
Yeah.
But instead of approaching it with all of the trepidation, all the fear of what could go wrong, what could go right?
Right.
What could go right? And so to allow yourself to be open and excited about what could go right.
I love that.
Yeah.
And oh man, you got the tears out. I've been fighting these tears all day. The other episodes were so good. We shot more episodes today, you guys. I'm like, I don't want to cry. And I'm like, love. Where's my man? Romance. Yeah. Just, I don't know what I was about to say. I lost my thought.
It's okay.
But
yeah. So that's a part of the emotional eating. Yeah. And it probably is more so at night.
Snacking. Girl, you're onto something here. I'm like, I'm like, let me just go get a bite of this ice cream. No, it is 12:02.
Yes. Yeah. So learning so that's what you ask yourself when you're reaching for the whatever your thing is to reach for.
Okay.
What am I really hungry for? What do I really desire? This is not really going to give me that, but I'm open to what I actually desire.
And this is what I was going to say. Consuming myself in work. I'm like, I love work so much. I'm so fulfilled here. But I'm like, if you, like you said, taking the three years off of a break, or not dating and not being in a relationship romantically, but now opening myself to the possibilities. Like, you're successful in your business because you consume your life with it. But you could be successful in love if you open up and seek and go out and look presentable. I'm in a hoodie. My homegirl was like, well, you ain't nobody talking to you because you look taken. Like you got a man at home. You dress in a hoodie and sweatpants like you got to cook his dinner. I'm like, I know. So I made that vow to myself this year when I was in London. I got dressed up every day. I was like, this feels good. I feel like I'm walking in my feminine. I feel like a wife. I feel like a woman that is on the prowl for her husband. Just like, you said creating that world. So being open to love this year and putting myself in position to receive it, I think is a big step for me.
Yeah, because the fear and the busyness are armor, and it sends out the message, not available, not interested, don't bother me.
Wow, that's the message I've been sending for freaking 3 years. Don't bother me. I'm busy.
I'm busy.
I'm not busy, y'all. DM me. I ain't that busy. I'm over here crying for my man. I know my husband out there. I be praying for you. What you doing? I be in my prayer room praying for my husband. I don't even know who this man is.
Well, but you are, and I love this, for Matters of the Heart. It's the subtitle is Healing Your Relationship with Yourself and Others.
So we're going to get into this.
That's you healing your relationship with yourself.
Okay.
Forgiving yourself. And let me just say, only for your part of it. You don't forgive yourself for other people mistreating you.
Come on.
They should have never done that. So that's on them.
Okay.
But for the parts of you that thought it was acceptable, or the parts of you that thought this was the best you could have, I forgive and release myself from that, from the traumas of the past. And I recognize my past doesn't have to dictate my present or my future. And so then I can show up healthier in love.
I love this. Come on, having a breakthrough.
Yes.
I got an interview and a therapy session. Y'all know I be crying every episode. But this was so... I don't watch back a lot of my episodes. So I'm like, I know what I said, unless I have a moment where I'm like, take that out. I didn't want to, whatever. But I can't wait to rewatch this and watch the breakthrough and watch the moments that I had with you on this couch. This was so helpful. I'm just so glad you got to come speak into me.
I'm so glad and excited for you and for your love that is on the way. I'm excited.
Do you believe?
I do.
Okay, sometimes you gotta believe. You gotta lean on your friends' faith and your community's faith.
Yes.
I believe too, though.
Yes.
I believe.
Absolutely.
Before we go, I know you got to get out of here. Tell me what people can expect with this book, Healing Your Relationship with Yourself and Those You Love, Matters of the Heart, by Thema Bryant. I said it right?
Yes.
Yay!
Yep,
I'm like Thema Lion.
That's it. You got it.
By Thema Bryant, the author of Homecoming. What can they expect when they pick this book up and start to read?
So if you've had challenges in life that make it hard for you to honestly love yourself, the whole first section is on having more self-compassion, self-forgiveness, all of those pieces. The middle part gives highlights on how to have healthy relationships with family, with friends, with romantic partners. Okay. And then the third part deals with some relationship challenges, like getting through infidelity, releasing someone who doesn't love you. Sometimes we're so wanting people who don't want us that we don't get to move on and go forward with your life. Healing harshness, healing control issues.
Wow.
Those things can sabotage your relationships. So we want us to have good love and for us to give good love. Wow. Often we're thinking about, I want people who are going to do all these things for me, but how do we show up in love is an important part of the formula.
100%.
Yeah.
Wow. Is this mine?
Yes.
I'm like, don't take this back now. Don't be doing your press run with my book. Let me give me my book. Let me give me my book. You have to sign it. I'm doing so good. I've been reading so many books this year. I haven't finished a lot of them. I'm not even going to lie to you guys, but just taking the first step. I'm going to get through this book. I'm so excited.
Good.
And thank you. Like, God be knowing what he doing when he set up these interviews. I get so many DMs, so many messages. So many people want to come on the platform. And if you go back and look at the episodes, y'all, half of the episodes are solo. Why? Because I handpick the people that I sit with. I want it to be impactful. I want it to not only be a message for me, just like you had today, but every single listener, the women out there, the men out there, you guys. Don't take this lightly. Like, y'all just got a free therapy session from somebody that probably charged a lot for her advice and her knowledge, right? So I'm just grateful for you. I'm grateful for what you're doing in the world. I'm grateful for your impact. I'm grateful for your influence. And I'm grateful that you came on Let's Try This Again.
I am so glad you're trying it again.
I'm trying
including trying love again.
Trying love again.
Beautiful.
And you are the prime example of resilience. You are literally, let's try this again.
That's it.
Literally.
Yeah. Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you so much.
I know the book is coming out. When is it out? Where can they get it?
The book is out. So wherever books are sold, go there in person, order online. For those of you who may not be big readers, there's also the audio version, and I'm the one reading the book. So check it out. And I'm so grateful. You all can also follow me and connect with me online, drthema.com, Dr. Thema on Instagram.
Yes. Thank you, sister.
Thank you so much.
This was so amazing. I'm so glad we got to make this work, you guys. Another episode of Let's Try This Again. I'm your host, b.simone. I will see you next week. The audio drops every Monday. The YouTube drops every Tuesday. And make sure you join our community. You don't have to look for community. It already exists with like-minded women that want to heal, grow, evolve, empower each other, support each other through healing. You guys, please join the community. Let's Try This Again on Instagram. Click the broadcast channel and hop in that community until we build and launch this app. It's coming sooner than you think, sooner than you know. The LTTA app is coming to an app store near you. We're making some great progress with the app, you guys. I will see you next week. All updates, merch, everything. Let's try this again.com. I love you guys so much. And thank you for tuning into this episode. Bye.